After death, your heart stops, but you may not stop immediately. Science says that even after the heart stops, the brain can continue to function for a few seconds, and in some cases, awareness may remain for up to 3 minutes. But after that, science has no clear answer. The moment the heart stops, oxygen supply to the brain is cut off. Yet for about 20 to 30 seconds, the brain is still active. Then slowly, everything begins to shut down. The nervous system stops, the brain and spinal cord lose function, muscles begin to tighten, and the organs stop working one by one. The body loses control. The temperature of the body begins to drop. Every hour it becomes colder by about 1 degree. The skin turns pale and then takes on a wax-like appearance. The lips fade, the nails lose color, and blood stops moving. It settles in the lower parts of the body, causing dark patches on the skin. The body then becomes stiff. This is known as rigor mortis. It usually begins in the hands and legs and gradually spreads throughout the body. The eyes begin to sink, and the body becomes cold and still. After a few hours, the body becomes harder. Blood settles deeper and darkness spreads under the skin. Within 24 hours, the body becomes completely rigid. After that, it slowly begins to break down. The structure cannot hold, the skin may swell, and eventually the body returns to the earth. In the end, nothing remains. But now comes the real question. If the body is gone, what happens to you? Science can explain what happens to the body, but it cannot explain the experiencer. This is where Vedic astrology begins to offer a deeper perspective. According to astrology, death is not the end, it is a transition. The body dies, but the soul continues its journey. Your karma does not end with death, it follows you. In astrology, the 8th house represents death and transformation. Saturn represents karma and time. Ketu represents detachment and liberation. The moon represents the mind and your final thoughts. Your last thought is not random. It is shaped by your entire life. Some people die peacefully while others die in fear. Astrology explains this through karma, planetary periods, and the state of the mind at the time of death. If desires remain, the journey continues. If detachment is achieved, the cycle can end. So ask yourself this. Is this life truly yours? Or is it just a phase in a longer journey? Are your actions creating peace, or are they creating future consequences? If even one person listening to this begins to think deeply about life, death, and karma, then this message has served its purpose. And in that understanding, the mind finds peace. Astrology does not treat death as a random event. It is a calculated transition, governed by multiple factors in the birth chart. The primary indicator is the 8th house. This house defines longevity, type of death, and the nature of transformation. The strength of the 8th lord, its placement, and planetary aspects determine whether death is natural, sudden, or prolonged. The 2nd and 7th houses are also important. They are known as Maraka houses and can act as death-inflicting triggers during specific planetary periods. Timing is derived from dasha systems. When Maraka planets operate during their Mahadasha or Antardasha, especially in combination with the 8th house, the probability of death increases. Transits further activate these combinations. Saturn plays a critical role in final outcomes. It governs karma, delay, and closure. Ketu indicates separation from the physical body and potential for liberation. Rahu represents unresolved desires, which can bind the soul to continued cycles. The moon determines the mental state at the time of death. Its strength, affliction, and dignity define whether the person leaves in clarity, fear, or confusion. A stable moon often indicates a peaceful exit. An afflicted moon can indicate agitation or distress in the final moments. Nakshatra also plays a role. The star occupied by the moon influences the subtle transition of consciousness. From an astrological perspective, death is not the end of existence. It is the continuation of karmic progression, influenced by planetary configurations at birth and at the time of exit. In the case of Sushant Singh Rajput, astrologers observed strong 8th house activation, along with Rahu influence and a disturbed moon. These combinations are often linked with sudden and psychologically intense exits. This study is an example for sudden unnatural death. In the case of Steve Jobs, astrologers often point to Saturn's influence combined with eighth house factors, indicating a prolonged illness and gradual decline rather than sudden death. This study is an example for prolonged illness death. APJ Abdul Kalam passed away while actively delivering a lecture. Astrologers interpret such cases as strong Saturn, indicating completion of karma, along with a stable moon reflecting a composed state of mind. This is the example for peaceful, duty-oriented death. In the case of Princess Diana, her death was sudden and unexpected, caused by a car crash. Astrologers often associate such events with strong activation of the eighth house, along with influence from Rahu, which is linked to unexpected and chaotic situations. In sudden accidents, Rahu and eighth house combinations are frequently observed. Now consider John F. Kennedy. His death was also sudden, violent, and public. Astrological interpretations often point to activation of Maraca houses, along with strong eighth house influence and challenging transits. In such cases, the combination of timing through planetary periods and triggering transits becomes significant. Now look at Adolf Hitler. His death was self-inflicted, under extreme psychological pressure. Astrologers studying such charts often observe a disturbed moon, along with strong influence of Ketu or Rahu, indicating mental instability, isolation, and intense internal conflict. Across these very different cases, one pattern repeats. Sudden deaths often show strong Rahu or eighth house activation. Violent or externally caused deaths show Maraca involvement and intense transits. Psychological or self-driven exits often involve a disturbed moon and karmic nodes. Astrology does not claim certainty, but it identifies patterns. And these patterns appear again and again across different lives. If you want to understand your own chart, your karma, and the patterns shaping your life, you can get a personalized report. Details are in the description.